Welcome to Not Factory Approved. The purpose of this channel is to not necessarily show the best way of doing something, it's to show a way of doing something. And if you've been watching for a while, you know that I've learned as I go. So I want to encourage you, don't be afraid to try new things. And if you really can't stand to destroy something, then practice on something that you can destroy. And it's not a big deal. Otherwise, you'll gain lots of experience and you'll be satisfied with your results, or not, the more you practice. So keep practicing, don't be afraid. One very bent hood. Now for some simple panel straightening. 2x4s, on the side, jump on it. For that, I will use a pry bar. Welcome to Not Factory Approved. The saga continues. So I'm leaving the roof for now, although there's lots of work to do up there, and I've got the visors to fix, as you can see. They flip and flop. The hood is a different issue. Now it was hit on this corner here. So I've taken the skin off the hood frame, and I'm going to try and make sure I get this frame to match the body before I go and try and put the skin on it. Not like the mistake I made with the doors. I also made that mistake with the front fender. I had the frame for it and I did not make sure it was straight enough. And it was a big fight, and I think I have to take it off and do it again. Or buy a new fender. So, on to the hood. You can see it had a nice little nest here. I've removed most of it. But now that it's defrosted, it was outside in the winter in Alberta. So you can see it's been crinkled here. I straightened it out roughly just to start getting into things. This is hitting the post underneath. So that obviously that is in the wrong direction. There's a dip here, you can see, from that crinkle. You can see it's all rusted out in here. Why am I bothering, you may ask? So this is a lip that comes down. Look at about that angle, right there. So that edge has to continue through. I'll be fixing that. But this is the side that wasn't hit, and you can still see there's damage. This is bent up in here. If you can see that part, it rises through here. Got a crinkle there. Signs of damage in through here. Some cracked paint there, which probably indicates damage. The arc is not too bad, but it ain't perfect. You can see it's down a bit here, it's down through here. As far as matching the cowl, it's pretty good. It does have a rise through here. That's got to be pushed down as well. Now I've got it pretty much even. This has to come back a bit yet, which I will do. So I'm going to use the body of the truck to try and make sure that the hood is proper, which this fender is iffy. So kind of treating that one with a grain of salt. So set up the latch. And the unfortunate thing is the latch is always to one side, so I got to check that out yet too, in order to get it even between the fenders. So this, let's see, once I straighten things out, this edge might get closer. This gap might reduce. And also, there's another crinkle up through here. So these are all signs of where it has to be straightened. So let's start going. And I think I will start on this edge here, try and bring it back. And that should be the last place it crinkled. Although this would be a spot too, and you can see that it's up here, so if I pull it down closer, then it's way up over there. So there's work to do. Okay, progress has been made. You can see across there the gap is pretty good, pretty even. It's a little bit this side, so I gotta do something with that, but I will do that. You can see the seam is off up there as well. It's too far to one side, but the shapes are coming in. This is still down a bit here, no big deal. And this has to come over more, so it's more in line. But this now comes down to here. So on this side, it goes in just slightly here. The gap widens. And I think that's probably stock, because this line is straight through here. No wrinkles. Took a wrinkle out of there. I had to put this dent back in. Fits with that. And then smooth this out. Well, that's pretty good. I had to rebend the front here. Just measured with a tape. Try and get it to match that side over there. And that's all going to get replaced. But it has to be in the right shape first before I start measuring anything. So obviously this has more of a taper in than the other side. So this has to go that way. See, it's up here, so that'll go down and that'll help push things out a bit. Still have to work on that. Still have to finish straightening these edges. You can see up through there, there's some waviness, but much better than it was. Same with this side, a little bit of waviness to take care of. But this now, if I push it down flat, the line is good here. And if I push this down flat, it's up a bit here and down there. So this thing has to be twisted up. This part has to come up. That part has to have more of a curve to it. Which is not terrible, but just takes some banging. And I got to finish smoothing this out. Most of that wrinkle is gone now. Still enough to be troublesome. But progress. So on to the next. Okay, I think we're almost there. I just have to finish straightening out this. It has to have a slight angle down and it has to run smoothly. I don't want to count on the hood to straighten that out, the skin. So I'll try and get those a little bit straighter. But this edge here, the skin goes over top of that, so this point is going to be further this way. So it's pretty much even side to side. I've got this can go just a little bit more that way maybe. For this edge is just inside of that. The gap here is pretty even. Likewise here. A little bit of this has to be bent back that way a bit. This also is inside the edge. The skin will go on top of it. This has to come up here, this edge. And I'll do that later. Right now I just want to get the hood ready so that I can straighten, well not straighten, I can replace this front edge and then have the skin ready to go back on. So I think everything's matching up pretty good at this point. So I'll finish off with these edges and check it again. Well, let's see how this works. So I've taken this piece, I've shaped it, more to go of course. I've cut the holes. I did this, drill a hole first with a unibit and then slice in to match. So clamp this into there, just got to make absolute certain about the position. Problem is, if it sits out here, then that's, by the time I put the hood skin on, then it will stick out. Even though it's even now, you don't want it less than even. And I don't have a whole lot of room back here. There's some, but not a lot. So I will size this up again, try and make absolute certain that I've got in the right position. I beat it and I shaped it, and I got tired of trying to shrink this section. It wasn't working very well, so I just cut it. Welded it up. So this weld is hidden by the hood. This one is not. A bit more to clean up there. Well, it probably still is mostly hidden by the hood. Who's going to look there? But still, I want it to look a little better than that. So, I mean, do a lousy job where people can see it, and do a great job where people can't. That's my motto. So I keep sizing things up, clamp this in there, make sure I get it right, and then cut accordingly. And then I have to form that side as well. And here, I'm probably just going to make a straight piece. Straight across there, come back a little bit past there, cut it along here, bend it in the brake, and there it is. There are multiple pliers on here holding it in position. Clamp this way, here, 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 and here. So I've cut the line, cut through in some places and not in others. I have to move this clamp here. But I almost made a bad error. I started cutting on this edge here, which I don't want. I want this to be exact, because I do not want this coming this way. I want it to stay exactly where it is. Whereas these ones, I want it to go back so that I have better clearance here for the lip of the hood to go past the fender. So it matches up. So finish that off and see what mistakes I've made. Take the hood off again and bend all this flange. You have to be careful doing that, not to take all the ripples out, or then you'll be basically forcing the hood to go flat. So it's not what you want. So the gap here looks good. It's pushed against the back of the frame. The gap along this fender is okay. The width is good. It matches the cowl. But I have to do some more bending here, obviously. And you can see that the metal I made is too long. So I'll be trimming that off. Better to trim it later than before, and try to have to add some. Same thing here. It has to be bent down more. You can see the angle here. It's steeper, or more shallow here. Not steep, less than steep. And then you can see by bending the flanges out, I'm starting to cause damage here as well. So that's all got to be straightened out. But this lip here is more of a 90 degrees, and it's got to be steeper than it is presently. So keep on going. There's a few dents here and there, but those will show up more when I take the rust off. Right now I'm just trying to get the shape right. Some of that will require shrinking as well. But this is not bad here. Feels pretty good. Slight hollow there. And this is a little ripply. That's got to be fixed. And then this, it's not too bad. It's just got to curve more. Same thing on this side. So carrying on. Now I know it fits three sides. Just got to work on the front. Sometimes my thickness is amazing. So I did this piece. It's the rough welding that's going to be all hidden. You can see I used water to cool it, so it's got a little rust on it now. But the main issue is I fought with this thing because I bent it here first and then tried to shrink this all through here to get it to fit. This one I bent it here. Allowed it to bubble out so that I can shrink it later, and left this flat. Why didn't I do that before? So much simpler. So there you go. Work with the skinny bit first. It'll shrink a lot easier than the big bit. Fred Green said, can't be handsome, might as well be handy. Where does that leave me? When grinding, make sure you cover up the MIG welder, which I did. This, because that's conductive little bits that are shooting everywhere. You just definitely don't want them inside the MIG. So, back to the drawing board. So I've flattened this all out. I ground it down because I had the MIG all set wrong. Sometimes I just have to rethink what I'm doing. So now it looks pretty good to me. A little bit more maybe, but that's pretty good. Matching up what it was before. So what I did was, back in a past episode I showed just making a resistive control to slow down the MIG. The wire feed was too fast. So what the problem I was having before was I was trying to feed it too fast and too hot. So it was just balling up and making a terrible weld. So then I watched a few more videos and what is wrong with me? Why didn't I do that before? I knew to do it before and then I forgot. It's a problem with doing things once in a while, I guess. So I've set the problem with one of these, with these cheaper MIGs, 110, is that they usually only have 4 levels, which isn't adequate control. I have better control over the speed, and I'm finding the right around 7 for the, sorry, try that again. This is the range. So you only have 4 steps for range, but you've got 10 steps for speed. So I didn't have adequate control before, so I put this high power resistor in with a switch. So there's low, off, high. So high is what it had originally. It indicates speed. So I'm finding around 7 and a range of 2 is working out pretty good. So now to keep filling it in and get some better weld. Now I think I've pretty much got it. It's up, well, it's up even with this here. I think I can adjust the fender for that because it's resting on the plate for the grill. Same on this side. This one's down a little bit. But as far as the welding goes, I think you got to get used to your own welder. The ones I've watched, one guy used a fairly low voltage and current, and another guy used a higher current. So I think you just got to get used to it. And what I found was that with this anyway, with the edge, because it's bent, it's a little stronger, I could go 1/2 inch at a time, cool it off. And I found it, I got a better penetration and less buildup if I struck the arc and then moved that way, went forward. If I went backwards, I got a little more buildup. As far as penetration goes, see, they're about the same. So that's what I'm going to do anyway. That's what works with this welder. So if you got one of these, or a reference for a 120 welder, I've got the current up to about 3, so 3/4 of max, roughly, and speed of 7, but a low speed. And I'll leave the number for the episode that's got the modifications to slow it down. Otherwise it's going to be, I'd be set way down, I think. I'm not sure exactly where that would be, and I'm not really interested in playing around with it. It works at this, so it's good for me. Now here's the hood sitting on there again. Just check the fit of everything. You can see that it's too far forward, a little over 1/8 of an inch, 3/30 or 5/32. So this is down. This is sticking out here. That's got to go back. This one is not bad. Could use a bit more. Not much though, because it fits here. It's down over the frame. So that part's good. Pretty much. And then I've got all the dents to take out yet. But also this has to be curved more, obviously. It's not fitting right. And then I gotta fix this mess. Don't know what they were doing there. So progress anyway. Got a hood frame. It fits nicely in the slot. So I just got to make the hood fit the frame. And all should be well. One thing about getting all the opaque, or not opaque, all the dull paint or rust, a dull surface basically, shining it up a bit, you can sure see where the dents are. All through here. This front edge is terrible. Dents in here. This is, in fact, the whole thing is a low spot. Got a ripple through there. Dents along here. And then more of the same on the other side. But now I can see them. Before, I had to keep feeling, and sometimes you just can't feel them all. Should add, sometimes I can't feel them all. Others seem to have a much better feeling in their fingers than I do. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, or even notify, or any of the above, or all of the above. Thank you.